It's time once again for a couple of cold ones with Corey and Carlisle.
This was a guy who said
we
he
need theme music.
See, at first you said you didn't want theme music.
But we need like the da 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 da, you know, just a key.
That sounds like you're running from the police with that music. That don't sound like anything to start a show with.
I'm just saying, you know, that little news thing they have, like on news things,
Oh.
where it's a theme, but it's not a full-on theme.
There was a guy online who said he was actually going to make a theme for us. Now, I didn't say we were going to use it, but he actually looked at that beer jingle I was talking about, which I should play it for you sometime. It's very catchy, and I thought it would work good for this. The music you were just doing, that's the kind of music I jump a fence to or something. So, how you doing?
Not too bad. It's been kind of a rough week, but I'm making it.
Kind of rough, huh?
It's been rough.
And what is that, like a good rough, like you've been working hard? Is that like a rough, like you got
like it's rough, like just shit keeps happening and I keep dealing with it.
Damn, you make it sound like you went to prison and got raped or something.
No, that would be you know, life was tough, motherfucker.
Oh, okay,
it was a rough week.
Oh, it's not a life is tough, motherfucker. It's just like
it's one of
times
those,
is
you know
hard.
what? I'm happy to kick back with a couple of brews and shoot the shit with a buddy kind of week.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what you're doing right now.
Wow, that's awesome.
And
truly, your power is great and mighty.
That's what I'm here for, man. Hey, you brought the good stuff this week.
I did. You seemed to like this last time you brought it, and I was like, you know what? I'll grab this.
No, I told you before you came here. I was like,
Especial.
The Modelo Especial. I said I wouldn't even drink this week, but you brought this over, and I'd be damned if you just caught my weak spot here with this. So, but
good stuff.
Oh man, it's a good week in movies.
It's an interesting week. I'll say that. And in fact, we're hitting a weird dead zone. It's this week is going to suck for the guys who write news blogs and such, because Hollywood shuts down this week and does nothing.
I know, this is the Will Smith holiday.
The Will Smith holiday.
4th of July means Will Smith.
Name it that. You know what? It was so long ago that we that we won our independence. It's like, who the fuck cares anymore?
Yeah.
It's just become a day when we eat hot dogs and blow shit up. Let us celebrate Will Smith and his awesomeness by eating hot dogs and watching Will Smith blow shit up.
You're exactly right about that. Kids today, they don't even know who George Washington is, Thomas Jefferson. They can't name the date the Declaration of Independence was signed. They don't know all that shit.
Fuck the 4th of July. I want to talk about the 2nd of July, the day that a Will Smith movie always opens. That's what I want to fucking talk about.
There you go. A bunch of people running around with Will Smith mask on and stuff. So, well, this week we have an interesting top 5. Not too interesting, but it's good. I think things that are in there deserve what they got.
We've got some very interesting stuff in the top 5.
Okay, so we'll start out with number 5.
Number 5.
The Hulk.
Incredible Hulk, still in there.
Yes, hanging on.
Awesome. If you haven't seen it, you still suck.
Got $9 million, $9,226,000 to be. In fact, its gross is right now it's $115,000.
115 million.
I mean, I'm sorry. I want this movie to do terrible. No, I like the Hulk a lot. It's funny though, because it is right on par right now with what the last movie made. So even though they wanted to do better,
you know what? I think I'm starting to think there's going to be one that takes off on DVD. I know the fans are digging on it. It didn't catch the mainstream.
No, I mean, that's too bad. I mean, it's not a bad movie. Even for my criticisms, I gave it a matinee, but I thought, great summer movie. I thought it would have done. It's doing what I thought it would do, but just a little bit less. I thought it was going to do just a little bit better. So I'm sad to see that happen. But anyway, it's a fun movie. Are they going to make a sequel to this, you think? A sequel to the Hulk? I'm not talking about the Avengers.
That I don't know. I mean, it really all. I don't think they're going to fast track one, but I think once they do an Avengers movie, they may, in fact, go, okay, it's time to do another Hulk movie.
Damn, we're going to be probably 75 years old by the time they do this Hulk sequel. Anyway, let's move up to Kung Fu Panda.
Number 4.
Still in there at number 4.
3 weeks ago, I said we'd still be talking about this movie, and here we are still talking about it.
And it's out at $180 million pretty much right now.
It's doing so well, and it is proving that if you make smart animated films that don't play to the adults with just the occasional adult joke, but actually make a film that works for both adults and kids, you're gonna make bank. And I've heard this from so many people. The adults are loving it more than the kids are. That the kids like it, but the adults love it. And when the kids say, "Hey, can we see Kung Fu Panda?" Oh, of course we'll take you to see Kung Fu Panda again.
Damn, I haven't seen it yet, but
every week you say that, and every week you say the same thing. Go and fucking see it, dude. It is my favorite movie of the summer.
I'm waiting for my panda costume to come in, so I can go there and pick up some girl who really loves pandas at that movie. Since you say the adults love it so much,
Well, yeah, but mostly adult men. I mean, if
Oh.
you want to go home with a furry that is into the film and wants to fuck Panda afterwards, that's the way to go, Corey.
I don't want to pick up a guy, but I
We
think
have
that
wondered
panda
for a long
suit would do
time
that.
What the deal was with you? You're a furry. That makes so much sense.
I am not a furry, man.
You are a furry.
People, and let me tell you something. What's scary about this? I was researching furries and furries before this whole furry thing got to be a big deal, and it scared the shit out of me back then. Because right now it's kind of, I won't say it's mainstream, but in people who don't know who furries
not
are,
mainstream.
no, it ain't. No, I ain't, that's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna say it's mainstream.
For those
people,
of you that don't know what a furry is, listen to Uncle Corey.
Well, I'm not even sure if I know what it is exactly. I just know that it's people who are into the anthropomorphic animals.
No, there's two types of furries. There's that. There's the people who are into anthropomorphic animals. The people who are into the drawings and into the anime. I'm referring to the type of furries that actually...
The sexual furries?
No. Now, some are, but no. There are people, the original furries, the second furries, the type that teenage girls go, oh, I'm a furry. No, that's the latter type.
What's the second furry then?
It is people who really enjoy being in animal costumes.
Well,
People who like wearing chipmunk costumes or panda costumes or woodchuck costumes, whatever. And some of them, not all of them, but some of them enjoy having sex in the costume.
That's the third part I was going to say. Because when I researched this, it was hardcore. I'm talking about before people who knew what furries were. You had to like go in and be initiated. I mean, they had like the Masons of the furry group. You had to just be really into it. In fact, you had to want to be an animal to get in there. Let's just say that there's some people who are so hardcore furry that if they had the surgical technique to graft a tail and some pointy fuzzy ears on you, people would do it.
But the thing that's just so creepy is that they have conventions, and that's cool. You know, whatever you want to do. I don't care what kind of convention you want to have. As long as you go off with your own kind, have a good time. Awesome. But they have these conventions, and all the guys dress up, and women, they dress up in their suits, and they have a nice little parade, and they have a parade in front of the kids. And these people are going to go home and fuck each other in these outfits. These outfits, if you took one of those CSI black lights over these suits, it would
some of the
scare
dirtiest
the crap out of you.
No, a friend of mine. I'll go with her. I'll go by her. She was in a band and she was kind of a furry. She brought me a tape and she wasn't as deep into it. But her name is Peggy Suicide. She's in a band. I'm not gonna say no more than that. She's not this deep, but she's like, you want to see some crazy furry shit? Look at this. And she brought me a tape where exactly what you said. They had a costume contest where they had a guy play music and nothing but adults. I mean, it was like let's imagine a whole room of people in Chuck E. Cheese costumes.
Yeah.
And they played music while these grown ass people paraded around and did their little act and
their
little
dance
and it was so sad because there was a little kid there. You know, this little kid had parents who were furries, and this little kid looked like, God damn, this is horrifying. I mean, a little kid, he's like, I do not want to be here. I'm so sad that my parents is a fucking rat, and my father's a rat, and my mom is a fucking rabbit. This is disturbing to me.
You know how this really went. That was a poor ass family. And that kid was just told by mom and dad, oh, we're going to take you to Disneyland tomorrow. These kids in this room with all these fucking perverts doing their little dance to the music. That's not Mickey Mouse. This fucking sucks.
Yeah, I thought we were going to Chuck E. Cheese. Where's the pizza? Shut up. God damn it, eat that sandwich and be quiet. But anyway, I'm sorry, we got off track, everybody. Let's move.
Way off track. Back to Kung Fu Panda, the wonderful family film brought
Kung
to
Fu
us by
Panda.
the good people at DreamWorks.
$11 million, made close to 180 million overall. Great movie, I hear. I'm dying to see it. Let's move on to
Number three.
Number 3. Get Smart.
Get Smart.
I saw the DVD for the spinoff you were talking about on TV.
It comes out here next week or something, and I should be getting that in. I'm looking forward to checking it out.
See, it actually looks more fun to me than the movie.
Now, I saw somebody, thank God, I forget who it was, but somebody on my list showed a Reels interview with it. And it turns out it's the same writers who wrote the script. They wrote a second script for this adventure.
And let me, before you go any further, explain to people what this spinoff is. It's two characters from this.
It's Harold and Lloyd.
The two tech guys.
The two tech guys who are in Get Smart. And they are, it is what happens to them when when the big bad shit goes down during the middle of Get Smart. There's a big attack on Control,
Yeah.
and this is what happens to them when they're stuck there in the attack. And it's got cameos and walk-ons by all the major characters in the film, as well as several of the minor characters who we saw in Get Smart actually play major characters. And these two movies go hand in hand. And it's supposedly written by the same writing team, which I think did an excellent job on Get Smart. So I'm really now looking forward to seeing how they did this.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting experiment.
I wasn't crazy about Get Smart, as you know, but the movie's doing well. $77 million overall. Took $20 million in this weekend. I like Steve Carell. I'm happy for the guy. I think he's one of the more, I would say, well-established, down-to-earth people in Hollywood, from what I hear.
And he needed this so bad because of what happened to him last summer.
What did happen last summer? Oh,
Evan
Evan
Almighty.
Almighty. Yeah, that was terrible, too,
It was
man.
terrible, and it was so terrible that, first of all, it was so terrible, Cyrus refused to review it because he did not want to think about this film. That's how bad it was. Secondly, it's so bad that they did a really interesting story on this. A reporter went to a number of blockbusters in his area to ask all the clerks on duty what the best film on the wall was and what the worst film on the wall was, what everybody was saying back. And the best films ranged around depending on which store you went to, but every store you went to, every clerk said, yeah, everybody's pissed off about Evan Almighty.
Oh, yeah, no. Evan Almighty was one of the worst reviewed movies last year, too. It was funny because Cyrus is, I don't want to bring his personal business out there, but he's an atheist, and he was mad about the movie.
Now don't say that, because if he hears that, he's going to be pissed, because he claims he's an agnostic.
He's not. He's an atheist. The guy
He is actually a born-again secular humanist.
What the fuck? Why is he making it that
If
complicated?
you know anything about philosophy or religion, you know what that
And
means.
I'm not even, look, I'm an atheist also, but I didn't get mad about Evan Almighty. I just said, so what, it's a movie about God. I don't care if people like it or not. I mean, but it's a shitty movie. So, I mean, come on, man, come say it's a shitty movie with me. No, I'm not going to see this. No. And I was like, Jesus
No,
Christ,
he
okay.
saw it. He said he wasn't going to talk about
That's
it.
right. He's like, no, I am not going to promote this movie by talking about it. I'm not going to even be a part of it. And I was like, Jesus Christ. All right, man. Okay. So,
We don't believe in him either.
yeah, exactly. Damn, I just blew up the mic right there. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, no. But anyway, I don't want to pause this, but keep on talking about something. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to get the
You
ice
forgot
pack.
to get the ice pack. So, no, but this whole Get Smart thing, I'm really excited about this video now. At first I was really, really skeptical, but I'm really thinking that this has a shot. Because usually when they do stuff like this, they get different writers, different director, different, all sorts of different things. Hold on. Was that a bottle of Jaeger?
No.
What was that a bottle of?
That's a bottle of cold medicine I put up there.
That looks like a bottle of Jaeger. That's Jaeger, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was Jaeger from the freezer. You're trying to cover. No, it's cold medicine. Yeah, that's Daddy's cold medicine, kids.
It's my cold medicine.
Daddy's got cold.
It
Daddy needs
helps me.
medicine.
I forgot to put the ice pack in there. All I have
So
was
you
a bottle
pulled
of
out.
Jaeger.
You're cool. Let me give this image to you, kids. Uncle Corey is worried about his Macintosh overheating. So he put a frozen bottle of Jägermeister underneath his computer.
Look, man, it was either that or Swanson's Hungry Man TV dinner. So, and I'm gonna eat that in a little while. As a matter of fact, I guess I could put it under here and it'll be done by the time we're finished, and I'll be ready to eat. So, but yeah, that Jaeger, man, that always keeps. So it's good for more than one thing apparently. Helps me out and helps my Mac out. Yeah. So let's move on to number 2.
Number 2
is Wanted. Did very well, man. 51
yeah,
million.
Lee's first big hit in a while.
This did better than Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Speaking of what she needed, she's one of those people who really needed this
Mm-hmm.
because it's one of those things. And she is the woman who broke the mold. For the longest time, it was argued that you had 3 bad movies in a row. You lost your seat at the table. That you were no longer considered a player once you've done 3 bad movies. She broke that. She went 5 terrible movies in a row.
No, what were the 5? Because last year she did that movie about the guy that got his head cut off.
Mighty Wind.
A Mighty, yeah.
Was that what it was called?
A Mighty Heart.
A Mighty Heart.
Something like that.
A mighty lame movie is what it was.
I didn't think it was lame.
It was very mediocre.
I thought it was mediocre. I thought she was great in the movie.
Oh,
so
no,
she
no,
got critical
was
praise.
fantastic.
See, if you
But
get critical
she's been
praise,
fantastic in
it'll
a
bring you
lot
over
of
a little
movies.
bit.
I mean, you look at the Tomb Raider movies, and she jiggles real good. But those movies were shit.
Oh, Tomb Raider movies are terrible, man. I don't care what you boys out there say. I know there's some kids out there going to be like, I like that movie. No, you like looking at her titties and ass. That's what
7 years old.
Yeah, and you like touching yourself to Tomb Raider.
Softcore porn back then.
Yeah, don't get you like Angelina Jolie's ass. You don't like that movie.
She did, God, and I'm trying to think, because I just looked this up the other day, but she did 5 in a row between what anyone would call good movies, and I was being lenient. And her first good movie out of that whole.
You can't remember the other movies at all?
I'm blanking right now because she just did so many crappy movies at the time.
I just know she got by with critical praise on A Mighty Heart. I think that's the name of the movie. I can't remember, but anyway, for a summer movie, it gave people what they were looking for.
It was fun. And even you just put up the review. I got to see how that came out. I haven't seen it yet, but
came out all right.
I mean, even I, who enjoyed it, didn't love it.
Well, even I, who didn't love it and actually said that it was just an overblown action film, thought like, hey, it's fun. If you see it, I'm not going to criticize people.
It's slick. It's pretty. It ain't great, but it's cool.
No, it was cool to look at. I just thought it was dumb. I don't care what anybody says. It just got dumb at the end. But what can I say? It gave people what they wanted to see.
And what makes me happy is that the second place movie was rated R film. And that it did very well.
It's actually the third biggest opening for a rated R movie. First is Matrix Reloaded. The second is 300. So this is the third biggest.
Oh wait, was 300?
Yeah, 300 was second.
And then before then, Scary Movie was one of the reigning supreme.
Yeah. So I don't know if that was number 3, was it? I'm not sure.
For a while it was.
Okay, but I don't know what it beat for number 3, but yeah. So hey, look, fine, whatever. The movie. I know there were some people who were complaining that it wasn't just like the comic, because the comic is very different.
Well, yeah.
But that's a small section of people. I mean, this is put out there for the mainstream.
I've talked to a lot of people, even people who didn't like the new one, who said, yeah, but what were you going to do? The comic book was so not a mainstream movie. It was so dark because it wasn't just about villains. It was about really, really bad guys.
No, they were all, in fact, they have villains within the story. Like, all of these are super villains. The movie's about super villains. And within all these super villains, you have the super villains you're supposed to root for, and you have the super villains who are very villainous. They are the bad guys. But even then, you have to look back. Even when they're fighting each other, you have to say, they're all bad people. You can't root for anybody. If they kill each other,
politics.
It's kind of like politics, or being in gangs or something, or the mob. It's like, so what? The mob is killing each other.
Obama or McCain? Wow, they're both bad guys.
See, I'm not going to get into politics right now. I'm not going to even get into it. But no, whatever.
I wonder who you're voting for.
I'm voting for McCain. See. I'm joking. I'm not voting for McCain.
I know you're joking.
And it's not in. I'm look. This is no place to even get. That's what I'm saying. I'm not going to even get into it. But
it's a smart ass comment.
But I tell you what, though, I do see that. What I'm disappointed with is that I do see how they could have made Wanted into a movie. I mean, it's all in the writing. I mean, and they could have kept the supervillain aspect, change it around. One of the better movies one of the best movies I've ever seen, and people are going to criticize me for it, is a movie that did a better job than the book, which is Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump is not that good of a book. It's a really bad book, as a matter of fact.
But the movie is damn good.
The movie's great. And I read that book thinking, oh, wow, this is going to be a great book, too. And I'm like, this is nothing like the movie. And not only that, but it's shitty. So, anyway, number 1.
The number 1 movie.
Yeah, had big surprise, WALL-E, 62 million. You and Cyrus creep me out when you do that. And don't, please, you're scaring me. No.
WALL-E.
I'm not even looking at you right now.
WALL-E.
This is Pixar's second biggest opening, I believe.
Yeah.
Incredibles is still number 1.
Well, yeah, but
actually, no. I think this is third. It's behind Incredibles, Finding Nemo, and then this movie. In fact, it is behind Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo opened up to $70 million.
I'm glad you got that down now.
Mm-hmm. It's good for people to know. I'm giving a test at the end of this, so people remember.
So remember what he said the third time, not the first 2.
Exactly. And remember what hey, that Jaeger do that to you, man. Jaeger and a chicken dinner. But WALL-E,
for dinner?
No, man. I actually had, what did I have for dinner? Why'd you ask me? I had turkey for dinner.
I was curious because I had fried chicken for dinner.
Did you?
Yeah.
Where did you go? Popeyes?
Churches.
You eat at Churches?
I went to Churches. I got a Churches right around the corner from my house.
See, how people are really fried chicken and race. And I know we shouldn't bring that up, but I just want to know how many white people out there eat at Churches? Because first of all, I'm from Waco. In Waco, it's a very polarized society there. and white people do not go to churches for some reason.
Well,
I think because black people are around there, they
well,
scared
first
to
of all, this churches is in in an area with a lot of white people. It's over by where I live. I know you like to joke, but no, I live in a
No, you live in a nice place, man.
I live in a very white area, but not super white, but
Not super white. There's a churches there.
Yeah, no, exactly. But what's funny is I was actually thinking about this very issue when I went in tonight, because I look up on the wall and there's that big poster. I know what good is, and there's like 3 Mexicans, 2 blacks, an Asian, and 1 little happy white girl over to the side. And it's like there's 1 white person on that poster. I'm in the wrong place.
It was like they got Patty Hearst. They kidnapped her, and she's sitting up there eating chicken. For those of you who don't know, Patty Hearst was a white girl who was kidnapped by a black rebellion group, and this poster makes me think of that. We're gonna kidnap this white girl and make her eat chicken. That'll show your daddy.
She seems really happy though.
But
Because you know what?
chicken.
Churches is good chicken.
Churches is great chicken.
That's the spicy. You get the spicy. Oh my God, is that good chicken?
No, man, Churches is great chicken. I love Churches. Now, I don't eat a whole lot of fried food. I mainly eat a lot of vegetables these days. I'm a vegetarian 5-6 days a week, but I will break down. And I will either go get the nastiest hamburger I can find, or I will go and get some greasy ass Churches, man. And that honey biscuit and woo.
Well, see, the thing is I cooked my sides at home. I made
what the hell kind of hippie shit is that? You went and got some Church's chicken and you cooked the sides at home.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Sure
you don't do it.
I do it sometimes.
What side did you cook at home?
I cooked up some homemade macaroni and cheese and some mashed potatoes.
They got mashed potatoes, boy, at Churches. You don't have to make it.
Yeah, but Churches does the wrong thing with that. That's what pisses me off. Like Kentucky Fried Chicken has, they do chicken right, apparently. They also do their sides right because they separate the gravy from the mashed taters. Whereas at Churches, they just pour the gravy on top, and it's like that little splash of gravy is supposed to go through that whole big thing of taters.
I can see you driving around town. I'm going to hit Churches right here, then I'm going to go over to Kentucky Fried Chicken, get my mashed potatoes, and then I'm going to go to Boston Market, get my macaroni and cheese.
No, that's why I just made the shit at home. Okay. And here's the
you
thing.
offend me, sir.
See, the thing is I also do it cheap. See, I'm a big fan of the dark meat. Unlike you.
You know what? I wasn't going to say anything. I just patiently sat here and waited. Here it is.
No, I love me, I love me drumsticks and thighs. So, I go and I pay $7. I get the $6.99 10-piece dark. And, bring that home.
See, I can't make fun of you, man, because I don't eat fries, really. I will eat them if they're there, but I really don't get them on my own. And I'm the kind of guy who will come home with my hamburger and chop up a carrot and eat it with my hamburger, so I can't make fun of you too much. How the fuck did we start talking about chicken when we talking about Wally?
Chicken dinner. Wally. So Wally.
I saw Wally at Churches.
How did we go from Kung Fu Panda to furries? It's just we go down that road.
I know, that's what we do, people.
So back on Wally.
No, Wally. Pretty much universal praise for the movie.
Holy God, is that movie fucking awesome?
No, it is, man. It is. A lot of people got mixed up in my review because I had a joke in there that kind of threw people off with the review.
I was wondering, because I was watching, I'm like, did he really mean matinee? Or because it was, I get the joke, but it kind of screwed up the delivery.
See, I thought that if I put the logo up for my review, it would help. But a lot of people ask me,
no, because what you've done in the past is that's what threw people off. Like just last week with Get Smart. When you gave it a matinee and you brought up the matinee logo and then said, "Oh, quit with your mind tricks, Carlisle," and then
I gave it full price and
then you gave it then it went up to rental, which is what you really had. But
and a lot of people thought okay.
So they assumed that the joke was, but you really thought it was a full price movie then.
Yeah, I did.
See,
I did,
and that's where I think you guys are all on crack.
Why? Because you think it's a better than sex movie?
Better than sex movie.
That's because you like to have sex with machines. That's why. I thought
that has nothing to do with it. That has nothing at all to do with it, sir. No, I just loved the hell out of that movie. It was so smart and it was so beautiful. It was a movie that I enjoyed watching the credits.
See, you know what? The credits, you're right. I stood in the 2D art and everything. Look, Silver Surfer. I'll just keep it on the down low here. I've been doing the call-in stuff secretly because I don't want to interview at the site, and I want to try it by doing it by myself. And Silver Surfer called up, and he said, "You know what Pixar did? they made that movie for them. The guys who made John Lasseter and his crew, they made that movie for themselves.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what, man, you're right.
That's why it is the best thing they've ever done.
Now, see,
Disney didn't want them to make that movie.
I know. I've been reading about that for the longest time.
There's a reason why. Once you see it, it's like, oh, wow, this is a complete dissemination and destruction of everything Disney stands for.
Well, also, it's an apocalyptic movie for kids. I mean, it's buried under a good message. It's good for kids to see. It has a cute character, but people died on the planet and everyone's gone. A handful of people didn't.
There was no death.
No,
not in that movie.
Not in the movie.
The ships.
But you look at the movie.
You're an adult and you think back. Oh wow, there were going to be people who were like, "Fuck that! I'm not getting on the ship. I'm going to stay here on my planet." But that's stuff that adults think. The kids are like, "No, they all got on the ship."
I know. See, that's what I'm saying. No, that's why it works for adults and children, because it's deeper for adults because they can think, "Wow, that must have been a grim situation." Kids are just like, "That's a funny ass robot." So. My criticisms of the movie I really couldn't bring out because really there's a whole section to this movie that I think people should go in and find out for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
I had small problems with that, but I also thought that, wow, that was a really pleasant surprise too, because that stuff is actually my favorite stuff in the movie. So I just thought that they were kind of starting to go a little bit long when Wally was doing all of his sight gags. I thought, okay, I get it now. He's lonely, he's funny, he's attracted to this sexy girl robot. It'd be nice if they moved on. And oh man, that robot was hot, nice and sleek, smooth, boy.
I just like the fact that a Mac and PC, got together. Although technically he was a Mac too, because they had the little Mac boot up sound.
Well, Steve Jobs from Apple.
Yeah,
it's over Pixar, so
And I knew when I heard
exactly.
That. I'm like, that's Steve Jobs.
I didn't even want to bring it up. I didn't even want to bring it up that Wally was supposed to be an old, faded, outdated PC. So I didn't bring that up. But you could just see the sleek design of that Eve robot and oh, that's a MacBook, man, with eyes. So, but
I absolutely adored that movie. It was the thing is I grew up with the movies this movie was based on. Silent Running is a big movie that had a lot of influence here. Things like Logan's Run, THX 1138, Soylent Green.
Oh, all that, yeah.
The early stuff with the Jawas on Star Wars clearly was a big inspiration here. I mean, this was made by a guy who looked at that, who watched Star Wars when he was a kid, and was inside the Jawas sandcrawler and said, "I want to see a movie about this."
Oh yeah, no, all those
references. This is what I want to see.
That's what Leon says. He's like, it's all those dystopic.
70s, dystopian. For those of you that don't know, dystopian is a word that means pompous critic. He wants to sound smart. I would love it if we could have a review about science fiction where we don't use the word dystopian.
Well, that's why I said Leon said it, because I wasn't going to even be that.
I was going to use that in my webcam. It's like, for those of you that don't know. But no, it's.
But they even took some elements from some cute movies. I mean, do you remember that movie Heart Beeps?
Oh yeah, no, I remember Heart
Andy
Beeps.
Kaufman as a robot.
That was so bad.
It's a terrible movie. No, I look forward to it as a kid. When I saw it, even as a kid, I was like, this is kind of boring.
You know what I liked that also reminded me of this? Electric Dreams.
The movie where the computer was trapped the guy in his home and.
Well, yeah, because the computer. Well, that's what the computer fell in love with the next door neighbor that. The computer's owner also fell in love with the computer.
Yeah, and they were
artificially intelligent.
Yeah, exactly.
And what I love about that movie is the ending, dude. The ending was just phenomenal.
I don't remember it, but hey, people.
The computer commits suicide.
Oh, okay.
He sends out a super heavy pulse of electricity that goes around the world, building up energy until it comes back and fries him because he realizes he can never be with the girl.
See, there are people out there like, damn it, why'd you ruin the ending for me?
Because it's been out for 24, 25 years.
But the new generation need to discover that on their own. There you go.
Yeah, I'm not going to recommend this movie because it wasn't that good a movie.
No, it wasn't. I saw it on HBO. It was really not that good of a movie. Very 80s.
It reminded me of that, and I like certain elements of it. You are fondling these DVDs over here, like
I'm just man. I don't know. I just see DVDs and I got to fondle
like
something.
A guy, looking at porn on the internet, just occasionally stroking his sack.
Do that all the time, man.
Well, who doesn't?
Yeah, exactly.
So we're pretty much done talking about Wall-E.
Yeah, Wall-E was
awesome.
Yeah, Wall-E's a great
better
movie.
Than Sex. I think it's a fantastic film. I think Corey's a total dipstick for not calling me up and asking me to come to the review.
See, there you go. We talked about that before. Well, that was a miscommunication thing right there. Didn't try to keep you out of it.
Well, and now you've been able to say that it was a miscommunication, and that's why I wasn't here. And
you sons of bitches out there. So
you're holding one of those films that actually Wall-E reminded me of.
Let me go ahead and get into this right now real quick because some of the feedback I've been getting on this, everybody loves these, by the way. I never thought that a cold ones would took off like it did. And I appreciate all the people that love it. And thank you for being dedicated to this. And I'm talking about you, by the way, coming here every week and doing this. But one of the things that people told us was they said one of the things that we really like about it is that you recommend something that we'd never heard of before. You always mention something, talk about something. It's not even movie related. You always just mention some kind of topic that makes us want to go and look it up or find out on our own. But then you also mention movies a lot that we've never even heard of, that makes us want to go out and research that, and then we watch it and we're like, wow, this is a great discovery. So when the need comes, I'm not going to do this every week, but when I find something I want to talk about, or if I think it's going to be helpful, I'm going to pick out a couple of movies, one for the younger people out there and one for some of the older people, and tell you about it.
Well, okay.
No, go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, let's link this, because there's a movie that I mentioned that I think you folks out there should check out. If you dug WALL-E, if you saw this and you're listening to us talk about, the old 70s eco sci-fi, which is really cool. There's a lot of really good stuff out there, but the ones I mentioned, if you haven't seen Logan's Run, you got to check out Logan's Run, of course, and THX 1138, which is George Lucas's first feature film. I don't recommend Soylent Green because it's a cheesy movie. I love it, but you probably know the ending, and the ending's been spoiled, and the whole movie's about the ending. It's all about this cop investigating this thing, and it's what is Soylent Green? And odds are you've heard that, and don't say it, Corey. Just in case, because
I'm looking at you.
If you decide you want to see it, if you're like, oh, I don't know what Soylent Green's about, go see it. Don't tell anyone on the planet that you're going to see this, and don't. When you get up to the front, if the person up front so much as looks at the disc you're getting, just look at him and say, "Don't tell me. I don't want to know it. Don't say anything. I've been told by a good friend of mine, you can call me your good friend, not to have anybody say a word about this movie because they will shout out the classic line for this movie.
Oh, yeah, and that gives it all away.
That will give away the whole fucking movie and ruin it for you. I knew about this, the ending of this movie 10 years before I saw it, and they even did an SNL skit about it, which is brilliant.
I never saw that SNL sketch, but yeah, you're right.
I'll tell you about it after, okay? But so you might want to check that out. But the movie I want to really strongly mention is a great old film from the early 70s called Silent Running.
Is that the one with the robots in space and they're trying to plant the trees?
It's Bruce Dern.
That's right.
He's on a spaceship that has some of the last plants left from planet Earth. And they're out orbiting in space, and they get the order to scuttle the cargo and come back to Earth. And he is so dedicated to keeping these trees and these plants alive that he loses his mind. Mm-hmm. And what ends up happening ends up involving him being off alone and reprogramming these robots and living on the ship with these robots.
And these robots are pretty much programmed to be his companions, now, his friends.
And
they play chess.
Fantastic, cool old sci-fi film that I highly recommend. The robots are awesome. The robots were clearly some of the inspiration, that we later saw in Star Wars and then in several films after that.
No, they were. They're little boxes with two legs underneath them. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're very cheesy looking by today's standards, but back then it was pretty cool. And like WALL-E, I think there's probably a big influence on WALL-E because these robots are programmed to also take care of the plants.
Yes.
If Bruce Dern dies, they must continue to take care of the plants.
And it's a fantastic little film, and it's something that if you're into science fiction and you have not seen this movie, it is very influential on WALL-E.